Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here, hoping this video finds you doing well today. Today I have a really special video. We're going to play the last 20-30 minutes or so of this tournament. It's going to be a little bit of a longer episode, and we're going to review some of these awesome decks that a lot of the top players have been playing. So today's tournament is actually a little bit bigger than my average daily Twitter tournaments, 200 player tournament, and there's a lot of good players in this tournament. So I've actually been playing the first half, but I'm going to take a short break here. Maybe we'll end up copying some of the decks that some of these guys are using, but my main philosophy behind today's video is going to be to share with you guys the absolute dominance right now of these bowler giant slash lumberjack decks. So all these decks that we're going to review today are probably going to include the giant and possibly either the bowler or the lumberjack, one of those two combinations, because those decks are so strong right now in the game. It seems like every tournament I enter in, every tournament I look at, these decks are absolutely dominating the entire landscape. So hopefully throughout today's episode, we'll follow along, like I said, some of these top players. Hopefully you guys will learn a tip or two. Sometimes just seeing these top players play these decks change the way you do one or two moves, or change the way you open up a match or close a match, or how aggressively you play a deck, or how you play the cards in a deck. I mean, there's a lot of different combinations that goes, a lot of different nuances, I should say, that goes into the gameplay with any given deck. So today, we're actually going to start out by following this guy Caesar on the bottom. Now, Caesar's playing this really interesting deck. His last card is a giant as well, so it's one of these giant lumberjack decks, and what he's trying to do here is get the combination of the lumberjack going first in the lane, followed by a giant musketeer combination, and of course he can supplement that push using the poison spell, using guards, minion. He has a lot of options in short. So here's a good 8 elixir little poke here on the right, and the reason I say it's a good combination is because look at, he has the zap spell up, and by sending the 3 minions with the giant there, the giant's only going to take about 50% damage at the very most. And although the P.E.K.K.A. did get a couple hits in, look at this, he's able to convert this into an offensive tower gain on his end. So when you're playing a giant and you know your opponent has an Inferno tower, it's always a smart move to wait until you have at least the 7 or 8 elixir buildup. That way you can drop the giant in combination with, as you saw there by Caesar, minions, or you can also use obviously goblins, basically any troop that's not going to disappear. Like you wouldn't want to use fire spirits because you need to count on those Inferno tower beams to lock onto another unit besides your giant just for a split second, give you a little bit extra time, then you can drop the zap spell and move on from there. So obviously that time he didn't have zap up, but you can see he's still going to convert it to a decent amount of tower damage, and then he goes ahead and puts the giant down. He's probably going to get this left tower there. Obviously another pretty obvious tip here when you're using a giant deck is, once you get one tower down, go ahead and get a normal push going in the opposite lane or the lane of the remaining tower. And then what you want to do is just don't put the giant in that lane, and then put the giant at the last second on the opponent's side of the map, like you kind of saw there by Caesar towards the end. And then the tower will lock onto the giant beforehand, and the opponent won't see that giant coming as quickly as they would, or as slowly as they would, I guess, if you put the giant in the lane. So what I always do is get my DPS cards down, and then my giant will kind of swoop in there last second on the opponent's side of the map, and that tends to work a lot better using giant decks than just going ahead and putting a giant in back of your tower. Now, if you are going against your opponent's king tower, maybe you want to not even worry about that other tower in the opposite lane. You can obviously do the tried and true method of just putting your giant behind your king tower, and that will still work against your opponent's king tower. But if you're going against that opposite tower, go ahead and do what I said there, put the giant on the other side of the map at the last second. So again, we're going to go ahead and watch a match by Caesar here, and if I'm not mistaken, this guy on the top, Patrick, is playing a Lava Hound deck, but don't quote me on that. We'll have to wait and see, but I could have sworn he was using a Lava Hound deck from my earlier matches. One thing I always do, and I actually included this in my tournament tips video, is if in the second half of the tournament, obviously this makes no sense early on, but in the second half of the tournament, if I'm up near the top of the leaderboard, I'll just make a quick note. I'll have a piece of paper handy or whatever, or an iPhone, and put it in the notes. I just want to make a note of what decks the top players are playing. That way, if I get matched up with them, I can have that little edge where I already know what type of deck they're playing going into the match just by simply looking at their name and seeing what I've jotted down previously. So I do remember that Patrick was playing a Lava Hound deck, and that is, I guarantee you, that is his last card, and there it is. So the Lava Hound, this is an interesting deck that he's playing here, an interesting Lava Hound miner deck. So maybe if you guys are looking for a good Lava Hound deck, you might want to give that one a shot. And I should take a moment to mention that the entire video won't be on this one deck here by Caesar. So, oh, look at that, he got his King Tower activated. That's 2 matches in a row, actually, by Caesar, that his King Tower has been activated by the opponent. That is not good for Patrick. And I remember Patrick being a pretty good player, too, so that was obviously just an inadvertent mistake there by him. Now, that's why when you know your opponent is playing the miner, that's why you put your pumps in front of your King Tower to start out the match, just in hopes that their miner will take down your elixir collector if you don't have the defense for it, and then they'll target your King Tower. And that obviously, this early into a match, well, as early as it was when his King Tower was activated, that actually gives you a really big leg up for the rest of the match here. So look at this combination here in the left right now, guys. Let's go ahead and zoom in real quick here, and this is what I'm talking about. You have the Giant, the Lumberjack, and the Musketeer, but that Lumberjack is supposed to get in front there. You can see it didn't really work out, but you want your Lumberjack to die first, and the Musketeer, of course, got held up by that Lava Hound, so definitely not textbook per se. But one thing I did want to mention is obviously that is the big combination. You have to time it just right if you want that Lumberjack to run ahead of your Giant in the lane to make sure that he dies first, and hopefully your Giant is close to full hit points still, and then he's going to be eating that rage as he totally pounds away the tower. So that's the combination that Caesar's looking for here, and you can see that, hey, even if you're a little bit early or a little bit late on your Lumberjack, well, specifically a little bit late on the Lumberjack, things can actually still work out, because sometimes your opponent's going to put down, say, Barbarians on your Lumberjack, which is behind the Giant. So if your opponent does that, things will actually still work out beautifully in that circumstance, because obviously your Lumberjack's going to die, but at that time, your Giant will already be on the tower, eating up that rage spell, totally slamming into that tower, and a Giant on rage is way more powerful than a lot of people think he is. So this is a good timing here. Look at this Lumberjack just kind of riding behind this Giant. Wow, that's actually kind of funny. I love when the troops get stuck behind another troop, but you can see here, it doesn't really matter. This is what I was talking about. The opponent uses Minion Horde on the Lumberjack, so the Giant is still going to benefit from that rage spell. He gets only 1 hit in, so it's really, again, kind of a stymied attempt at that combination there, but you can see the idea behind it. Actually, Patrick has a pretty good deck to counter what Caesar's trying to do here, and luckily for Caesar, that King Tower has been helping out against those Minion Hordes and against the Lava Hounds, and of course against the pups as well here, so he has that advantage really paying off a lot. Now, even the Musketeer can actually do work under the rage spell, so what you can see right now here is there's not even a Giant involved. It's just a couple Musketeers behind that one Lumberjack there. So if the Lava Hound wasn't played, and of course it was, again, really a bad example of how this deck's supposed to work here, but you can see the Giant, it looks like he's going to finish the job right now here. You can sneak that Giant underneath the Lava Hound. Obviously, you can sneak any ground targeting unit underneath the Lava Hound, excuse me, and still have success that way. So it didn't work out exactly how he drew it up, but Caesar still got the win there. So I might stick around for one more match by Caesar, but let's take a quick look into some of these other matches just to see what people are playing here. Now, Wiso actually won a previous tournament. He's a winner in the past, and it looks like he's playing a Lumberjack deck as well, but we're kind of halfway through that match. Let's try to pick up on a match from the beginning here. So again, Caesar's in a match here, and this will be the last match that we watch Caesar, and then we'll just kind of switch around after that. So this time, let's see how he starts out a match, see how aggressive he is out the gate, and see if he makes any changes from the previous 2 matches. So he's going against this bowler deck. This is actually pretty interesting here, because this is exactly the other type of deck that I wanted to cover in today's video. So it looks like Tin here is playing the Bowler Giant Musketeer deck, and coincidentally, this is my other really favorite deck going right now. I've been playing this myself, and I've been making a few tweaks here and there. My personal variation, I removed that Elixir Collector from this deck, and I've added in Fire Spirits in that spot. It actually brings the deck cost to around 3.4, I want to say, and to me, 3.4, I'm comfortable going in with a deck that cheap in terms of average Elixir cost, where I don't don't need to necessarily have an elixir pump to gain the advantage or help make the deck run. Instead, I can cycle both the Ice Spirit and the Fire Spirit. But enough about what I'm playing. Let's kind of focus on Tin's deck and see how he plays it against what we already know to be Caesar's deck and strategy. So this is the combination that Caesar wants here. He has the Lumberjack, he has the Giant, he has the Musketeer. Lumberjack dies. The Giant doesn't really make it to the... Okay, he does make it to the tower. He gets a few hits in there. I guess we'll take that, but the problem is that Giant's going to get a lot more damage done to Caesar's tower than he was able to do to Tin's tower there. So 4 or 5 hits from that Giant, and it's kind of a stalemate there. But look at this. There's 2 elixir pumps on the board for Tin, and now, hey, I'm going to eat my words. There's 2 elixir pumps on the board for Caesar. But the big difference is, obviously, Tin is full on elixir, and Caesar is at a disadvantage right now. So let's see how Caesar plays this one. Not sure I love this Giant play by Caesar here. Of course, he probably has no way to know that Tin's sitting on a 100% full elixir hand right now, and now he drops the Lumberjack, and he has the Bowler and the Musketeer coming up from the rear. So let's see how he plays this here, though. He's getting a lot of damage done by that King Tower, and look at this. Just as I mentioned, guys, the Giant played by Caesar there was a little bit of a mistake in hindsight there. Obviously, the Giant dies before he even gets to the tower, and he does nothing defensively and nothing to distract Tin's Giant coming his way. So now we're going to see a little push here from Caesar. He has the Giant, the Guards, and the Musketeer going against the Bowler there, but there's a lot of damage left to be done to that tower, and there's not enough time left. 5 seconds left. It looks like Tin's gonna pick this one up, guys, and what do you say? Let's kind of switch right over to Tin's deck and see how he's playing this deck and see what kind of success he has. Let's first see where he stands in the overall standing. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize he was that high. So Tin is number 1 right now. So this is his deck, guys, if you want to copy it. If you don't have the Lumberjack or the if you don't have the Lumberjack, I was going to say if it's not leveled up, but obviously tournament standards are level 1, so that does not apply. But if you don't have a Lumberjack and you do want to still play a deck like this, you can easily substitute the Lumberjack for all kinds of cards. The simplest to have the same type of utility would be a Rage Spell, so you could just wait for your perfect moment and use the Rage Spell in a similar fashion that you would use, or a similar area that you would use the Lumberjack in support of the Giant and Musketeer combination. If you want to be a little bit different in terms of you wanted to go without the Rage Spell, you don't want to add a direct damage spell. Obviously, you already have the Poison, so you could add just a regular card. If you have the Princess or the Ice Wizard, you could add one of them there. If you don't have any legendaries, you can go ahead and just add you could add Archers or Spear Goblins, Fire Spirits. You could add a cheap DPS card in that slot as well, and heck, you could even add Guards if you wanted to. But anyway, you can see I'm just hopping into a match here myself because Tin wasn't hopping into a match himself. So what I'm going to do is just play a match with Tin's deck, and we'll see what kind of success that we have with it. Now, I did mention that I have been playing a deck similar to this, so I have a basic understanding of what I'm trying to do, but I did make some tweaks to my own personal deck, so we'll see how this one plays and feels right now. So I believe the player I'm playing against right now, don't even know what to call him, but I think I've seen him before, and I think he's pretty good, so if I lose, it's not my fault. Joking. If I lose, it is my fault. So we're going to get the Bowler Musketeer combination going here. I'm just going to Poison on his side right now. I want to bleed away that Elixir Collector, and we'll be able to kill his Giant here. So obviously, trying to play a little bit defensively right now, and then we'll try to turn this into something offensively after we counter his Giant and his Lumberjack. So I'm going to sneak this Giant in right here, and I think he should have about 3 or 4 Elixir right now, if my math is correct, kind of ballparking it here. That was actually a good guard play on his part, but look at this. I'm going to have my Lumberjack on his mini pick. I think my Lumberjack should kill him. He does, and look at this. This is definitely going to take down this left tower. And, I mean, I hate to make it look that easy, and he says, wow, well played, and the truth is he didn't even make any big major mistakes, but when you take a deck like this, and you're able to turn a defensive stop using the Bowler and the Musketeer into an offensive push, it just becomes really, really lethal when you drop that Giant in front of the Bowler and the Musketeer, as you saw that I did, and then I still had enough Elixir to also also get my Lumberjack in. So I'm going to play the Lumberjack way back here, and he should run all the way up to this Giant right now, and hopefully right in front of him. Now, I may have played him a little bit too far back. It looks like he's going to get stuck here behind the fatties, and but look, he played a Giant there, and that was interesting because that's going to allow me to do a lot of damage with my Giant. I also dropped the poison spell on the Elixir Collector, as well as those guards that were eating away at my Giant, and I'm able to still play defense as well here with my Musketeer. Now, he's probably going to get a few hits on my tower here, maybe. He has the miner down as well, so it looks like he's going to get a hit or two in with this mini P.E.K.K.A. Not the end of the world here. I already have a lot of damage done to his right tower as well, so at this point in the match, as long as I don't screw anything up majorly, it looks like a pretty textbook win using this Bowler Giant deck for yours truly. So there's my second tower. Now it's time to just kind of play defense. I have 30 seconds left, so maybe we'll get a really slow push going here. Probably don't have time to take out the King Tower for the 3 crown. But either way, you can see a pretty successful deck, right? I mean, you can still run into decks that can counter this deck pretty well. Obviously, we have a lot of holes defensively speaking. If you play this deck in ladder play and you go against a Royal Giant player, I mean, we don't have a mini P.E.K.K.A. and we don't have Barbarians in this deck, so we don't necessarily have that really high DPS one swing answer to any immediate threat like obviously the Royal Giant. So I would say this deck is weak against Royal Giant decks, so just be aware of that when you play it. And also, as far as air targeting units, I mean, we don't even have minions in this deck as well, so it's kind of rough against air too. That's not to say that the deck isn't good. It's a really good deck, and it's a really solid tournament deck. You can see a bunch of players in the top 10 using a deck very similar to this. Just be aware, like any other deck, it's not OP. I mean, everybody's so quick to call every single deck in the game OP, and it's just not the case. It definitely has its weaknesses, so don't expect to go into every match being on equal playing field with every other deck. So now we're going to kind of stick with Tin for a little bit because he seemed to be a pretty good player using this deck that we just had success with, so let's see what he can do with it. And hey, he's in first place, so we know he has a chance at winning, and we're going to be seeing this tournament through till the very end. So hey, maybe we'll create some sort of an emotional attachment to good old Tin here. You can see he's a little bit sad right now. He's going against a deck that is very similar to his. Now, Deuces has a deck that's a little bit more versatile defensively speaking, so I would say that Tin's deck is a good variation for being very strong offensively, and then Deuces is a good Bowler Giant deck for being a little bit more conservative in terms of an even balance offense and defensively. Now, the reason being is because Deuces, has guards in mini P.E.K.K.A, whereas Tin has the Lumberjack, obviously, and I think he has Ice Spirit in the other slot. I don't even know what Deuce's last card is. Maybe a Rocket? We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, at this point in the match, things are a little bit of an advantage for Deuces here, but I really like the fact that Tin actually is still very much in this with that Rage spell in the Giant. You can see the Giant under Rage right now here is going to be able to do a lot of damage to this other tower, so watch this tower kind of bleed away, and now it's pretty much a tie ball game. And again, defensively, the Lumberjack doing some work there, the Musketeer also helping out. Once this Lumberjack dies, the Musketeer, I was going to say the Musketeer was going to be under Rage and has a chance to defend against the other Musketeer in the Bowler, but she was just outside of that little Rage radius there. So this is actually going to be a pretty decent push here coming from Deuces, but look at that there, very well placed Giant. So the Giant can be used defensively there, and he did a good job of really stymieing that little offensive push there by Deuces using the Musketeer and the Bowler. So the Musketeer and the Bowler are now dead, and again, it's going to be a Giant played by Tin here. So Giant versus a mini P.E.K.K.A, Musketeer with support. Now it's a Musketeer Bowler combination. I bet he wishes he could play the Giant right now, and you know what? He can, and there was only one reason he could there, is because there was an opposing Giant coming in the same lane, and this is actually going to be really good for Tin here. That's where you can get into trouble going against a deck like this. You play a Giant like Deuces just did, and then you have that big, really strong counter push coming at you with the Bowler Musketeer Giant combination right back at you. You don't have the Elixir to defend against the counter push that strong. So it looks like we only have 8 minutes. Wow, this video is flying by, guys. And you can see the top 3 players, none of them are even in a match right now. So I kind of want to see who goes into a match first out of Ruben, Cole, and Tin. I think all those names should be familiar to people who've watched my channel for a while now. They're all really good players, so hopefully one of those two, or one of those three, excuse me, will get matched against one of the other three, and we get to see two of these guys go head-to-head. That would be really fun, and it looks like we have that right now with the second and third place guys. So let's go ahead and tune in to Kale versus Tin here. And Kale from the Orange Juice clan, he's one of the better players that I've seen before. He plays a minor cycle deck usually. No hog in the deck though, if I remember correctly again. This time Tin's going to go ahead and play some good defense in that left lane using the Lumberjack all by himself to counter that quick little offensive spurt there using a mini P.E.K.K.A, Goblins, and Ice Spirit, I believe. Oh, it does look like he used the Zap spell as well. I kind of missed that there. But either way, you can see already that Kale here has used already this early into the match. He's used 6 of his cards to only 4 to Tin here. And again, a really, really strong push coming here by Kale. And it looks like he's going to get him to the tower. This is going to be a lot of damage here. And you can see use that Zap spell. Perfect timing on that Zap. Was able to make sure that tower targeted one of those Goblins and not the mini P.E.K.K.A and take down that tower. So that hurts for Tin there. And it looks like, you know, he has the elixir pump on the board, so there's no need to panic at this point. Well, maybe there is need to panic. It looks like now his elixir collector is down off the board, unfortunately, but he's gonna do his best to get a nice push going here. And let's see how Kale goes ahead and tries to stop this push. So it's the combination he wants here, obviously. Oh, there it is. Oh, so with the Inferno Tower added to this deck, I forgot he played the Inferno Tower. It's gonna be pretty difficult here for Tin. I mean, it's a pretty speedy deck already to combat for a guy like Tin with a little bit more of an expensive deck, and on top of that, there's just a lot of defensive answers when you add that Inferno Tower into the mix into Kale's deck. So another really traditional, I guess a classic miner deck here being played by Kale, and you can tell he's got a lot of reps under him. He's a very experienced player, and he definitely knows how to counter any sort of offensive push here by Tin. So again, he's going to try to get something going here, and again, there's the Inferno Tower, and it's a sad face by Tin because he can't really counter the Inferno Tower. The Giant goes down, and that's going to end this big push here that would have been a pretty decent push here, I should say, by Tin. So again, really an answer for everything that Tin tries to throw at Kale at this point, but he's going to keep trying. I mean, at this point, with only 30 seconds left, he doesn't have time to get the value out of an elixir collector, so he's going to have to just resolve to do the best push he can possibly come up with. But you can see things already going bad with the Inferno Tower already being placed on the board. A pretty good Ice Spirit there, but it's going to be a little bit too little too late, it looks like, because the Giant is going to, in fact, go down here. Oh no, it looks like the Giant has survived, and if the mini P.E.K.K.A can die right now, he might be able to get this, guys, believe it or not. Oh, look at that log. I think that log is going to stop him from pulling off this victory here, and that nice, very nice Ice Spirit placement there. You can see the tower probably would have went down there had that Bowler and the Musketeer both gotten a shot or two off on it. But either way, a nice win there for Kale, and now Kale is in first place overall, so I don't think he needs to play another match at this point. It looks like he might be wanting to play another match. So let's go ahead and see what Kale does here. And while we're waiting, I did kind of want to have a chat with you guys, kind of in light of yesterday's video where I covered my reaction, I should say, to the addition of a mute option for emotes. I kind of wanted to mention the other things that the Clash Royale team had previously said they would never add to the game, and maybe they would actually change one of these things. But let me quickly go down the list and talk about what I think would be good and what I think is a good idea. These are the things they have technically ruled out. So these are things that they have no intentions of ever adding to the game. One is more chest slots. Number 2 is the ability to trash chests. Number 3 is to merge chests. Number 4 is adding a win rate percentage onto a player's profile. Number 5 is a new skin for each level of troop. Number 6 is the ability to sell cards. Number 7, the ability to donate epic cards. Number 8, the ability to donate legendary cards. Number 9, a surrender button. And number 10, any type of healing card. So those are the things that the Clash Royale team has said that they will never add to the game. Now, they also said that they would never add the muting option for emotes, so there always is a chance that they'll change one of these things. But I was curious, if you had to choose one of those 10 things to add to the game, what one would it be for you? I think for me, me, without putting a lot of thought into this, because I'm kind of just doing this, you know, I didn't plan on talking about this necessarily this video, but I think the first thing that kind of popped out to me there, besides the whole chest stuff, I'm not sure what the best format would be as far as trashing chests or other stuff revolving around the chest. I think that the biggest thing to me, I mean, obviously the skins would be really cool. I would personally even pay a small amount of gems to have really cool skins for some of these troops. I think it would add a cool dynamic to the game. But beyond that, the one thing that I was kind of interested in that list of things they'd never add to the game is the ability to donate epic cards, because I find epics the absolutely toughest cards to level up. It just seems like, especially when you get to level 9 and 10, it takes absolutely forever. It's seemingly way longer than common cards, and my epics are a little bit under-leveled, so maybe I'm being a little bit selfish here. But hey, that's one thing that I would love to see added to the game, the ability to donate epics, maybe just one at a time versus the 4 rares at a time, or the 40 or 30 commons, excuse me, at a time. So I don't know, just something to think about. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, if the team ever does reconsider one of those aspects of the game that they previously said they would never add to the game. And one final note there, as we're watching this match, I'm actually providing no commentary on this match here, but you can kind of see what's going on. Royal Giant versus the classic here by Tin by this point, the Musketeer Giant bowler deck. So just one further quick point on that previous digression there is that I did mention they'll never add a healing spell to the game, and I actually was able to get an answer from the Clash team regarding why they would never add any sort of a healing option, healing spell, or healing card, or healing unit, and they said because when they play tested it, when they added a heal spell or they added any type of healing unit, it actually made the matches go way long, because obviously, think about it, I mean, the whole point of the game is that the units are supposed to eventually die, and if they're all continuing to live, it actually really clutters up the map way faster than one would imagine, just kind of trying to imagine what a heal spell might look like inside the game. So that was the reason they gave me in terms of why they would never add a heal spell to the game or a healing card to the game. But hey, we'll have to wait and see. So guys, with only 1 minute left in this tournament here, it looks like Kale has pretty well secured first place for him. So congratulations to Kale. We'll have to wait and see what happens between 2nd and 5th place. Let's kind of check in on this match here, see what's going on. Okay, nothing too exciting going on there. It looks like Tin is hopping into another match here, so if Tin wins this, he could maybe get 2nd place. Let's go ahead and watch this match here by Tin versus Rancid, and this probably will be the last match we'll watch. Who knows? Maybe we'll get one more if someone hops in last second. So guys, if you want me to do a standalone video on all the features that the Royale team has said will definitely not come to the game, and all the features they said that they're thinking about possibly adding to the game, let me know, and I'd be glad to do a standalone episode really focusing on those, because there's a whole list of things they said they are working on that I haven't shared with you guys today. So let's hop into this last match here. So Rancid is playing an interesting deck. Miner, Baby Dragon, Minion Horde are the only cards we know so far, plus Poison, so it looks like another pretty classic Lava Hound deck. I actually haven't done any standalone Lava Hound videos, and the main reason for that is, just to be totally honest with you, I'm not a big Lava Hound player. I'm not a big air guy in Clash Royale. More Clash of Clans is my style for air, but either way, I'm not too great at it, but obviously the fundamentals are pretty apparent with a Lava Hound deck. You're trying to sneak that miner in there at the very last second before the Lava Hound dies. That way the tower will lock onto your miner, and all your pups will be able to do damage to the tower, while the miner is the closest unit left to that tower. So that's kind of what you're trying to do with any of these minor Lava Hound decks, and that's pretty much the combination that you're looking for. That's not to say that you don't have other tricks up your sleeve, though. You can also combo the Lava Hound with the minions or the Minion Horde. You can try to bait out their arrows or their zap spell, and then use your opposite, either the minions or the Minion Horde, whatever they didn't kill, with their arrows or their zap spell. So you do have a lot of options. So see this here, for example, it's a minion Lava Hound, and had Tin played arrows there or a fireball or something like that, then Rancid probably would have been ready for the Minion Horde to play right afterwards. And there's the Minion Horde. As soon as that poison goes away, I'm not going to say we called it, but we called it. There's the Minion Horde, and that's the combo he's looking for, and the tower will go down, but it looks like there's going to be a decent amount of damage done to Rancid left tower in return via that giant and poison spell. So kind of a trade-off here. It's kind of a weird position for Tin right now, because both of the towers are down to very low hit points, But look at this, there's only 30 seconds left in the match. Now, he has the poison spell, so we can use the poison here, and things are looking a lot better now that he got that left tower down by the giant spell. Obviously, just be careful, the minion horde and the lava hound coming over here in the left, but you can see very nice placement on that bowler there, and it went from looking kind of precarious for Tin to a really, really nice 3-crown victory there. So Tin pulls off the 3-crown, and then he gives the, you get a little BM action there, Tin, I don't know. It was probably all in good fun. He's been a good sport up until now. So look at this, guys. It looks like Tin finishes 3rd. It didn't really affect anything in the overall standings there. So it looks like things, just judging on the trophy count right now, it looks like the top 5 here are pretty well cemented. So here are their decks, guys. If you want to take a look, if you want to copy any of these decks, ooh, a cool 3 Musketeer deck. I actually recently did a video on the 3 Musketeer split deck, and it looks like that was one of those type of decks. And here, obviously, we know that deck. Let's look at Dylan. It's been a while since we've seen Dylan. He's playing an interesting, look at this deck. This is very interesting. I wish we had caught one of these matches. Dylan's a very, very good player as well. And then more bowler action here with a log. A lot of new type meta decks. It's really cool to see the meta finally changing a little bit at the top game. Obviously, Giants still ruling the day. But other than that, you're seeing some different combinations in these decks with the Giants. So that's good to see. And guys, it looks like that's going to do it for today's tournament. Oh, let's watch this last match here, guys. So it's going to be Rubens versus FTM here, and we are 2 minutes left in overtime, 35 people watching, so obviously everybody kind of waiting for this match. So this is one of those matches where you're like, okay, I'm watching it because I want to see what place I finished in, actually, not because I care so much about the match. But either way, we care about the match, the viewers at home here, and Rubens is a very good player. So let's see. I'm rooting for Rubens. I don't know about you guys, but let's hope that he can pull off this victory here. There's a lot of damage already done to that tower. He has another bowler deck. This one's interesting. It's a bowler miner log deck. Very cool deck. I wish we had seen more action with this deck here, but you can see that he has that tower almost down at this point. Almost down, very, very close. All he needs to do is get that princess and the bowler onto that tower, and he's got it, but oh, the log hurts him a lot, taking out his princess. He gets the miner on the tower. This might do it here, but I think the guards might take him down. They do. Okay, now a log on the tower. Now, obviously, in Rubens' deck here, he doesn't have that poison spell, but all he needs is one hit, so it's GG. Finally, it's GG here for Rubens. It was a good match, though, obviously, going almost 4 minutes. That was a nice match to end out this tournament. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this longer episode. Huge shout out to making it all the way till the end. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. And, guys, I hope you enjoyed some of these giant decks. Good luck with the Giants. Obviously, they're one of the most dominant cards in the game. Hope you have a lot of success with them, guys, and thanks, as always. Take care, guys.